Tallulah Windrift tasted her first breath of Gulf Coast air on 16 May 1999 in a paint-pilled cottage perched on pine pilings above the jade backwaters of Alabama's Dauphin Island. Outside, a shrimp trawler rattled distant rigging while her mother, a wonder-happy Zydeco accordionist who keeps pressed jasmine petals inside her reed pouch, coaxed a low groove that sent chipped mason jars vibrating on the shelf. Her father, a night shift channel marker tender who sketches cloud stingrays on waterlogged invoices, leaned so close their freckles all but touched and promised his newborn daughter that dot gossip, hallway side eyes, and store racks that stop at 14 would always step aside for hearts brave enough to grow into every inch of their outline. Curves have moved through the Windrift family like warm current threading beneath cooler brackish tide, so no one gasped when baby Tallulah split her second cotton swaddle before the kettle whistled. Granny Winona flicked a bait needle through each burst seam, patched the gaps with triangles cut from an old sailcloth banner, and laughed that 2 handspans of extra fabric cost pennies, while teaching a child to shrink might cost her whole horizon of dawns. Grade school hallways smelled of pencil shavings, brown sugar beignets drifting from the canteen, and salty breeze sneaking past warped window frames. Tallulah already rose half a head over her classmates, eclipsing the overhead bulb whenever she traced sea turtle nurseries on the pull-down atlas. One muggy recess, a pair of boys hop-skip circles, chanting tug barge on every thud, her rain boots left across a chalk grid. That night she roamed the rec line, pocketed soda caps polished pearl by surf, threaded them on monofilament, stitched the rattling strand down her seafoam hoodie, and strolled into class at dawn, scattering rainbow freckles on the ceiling tiles. A literacy volunteer caught 8 shaky seconds on a prepaid phone and posted the shimmer on a fledgling video nook. By lunchtime, 15,000 strangers applauded the girl who melted mockery into lighthouse shine. Tallulah scrawled a vow in purple crayon beside division drills. Clouds crowd only until you flash them bright enough to scatter. The weekends belonged to the public pier, where her mother's accordion riffs tangled with diesel groans from oyster boats, skillet hiss from hush puppy stands, and gulls begging for mullet scraps. Store jeans wedged at her thighs, so Tallulah swapped tip jar quarters for sun-bleached gill net, unraveled it into soft rope, crocheted high-rise culottes, then airbrushed red fish silhouettes with squid ink. Her cousin snapped sunset photos against rust-weighted bollards, and every frame glided into an online diary she named Lantern Swell. During the week, a shining photo app finally reached patchy island towers. Captions hopped from dock slang to clear truths, like Curve's anchor gust steadier than sea walls. 2 months shy of 16 candles, 51,000 unseen hearts were double tapping every mango-lit post, proof glowing rectangles hush cafeteria whispers quicker than any coached whistle. She earned a Wave Energy scholarship to Auburn's Coastal Engineering Wing. Days folded into turbine labs, nights belonged to a 24-hour gumbo wagon, glowing neon persimmon under live oak limbs. The heat lamp became her softbox. Between orders, Tallulah filmed 90-second reels, folding parchment into marshly barrettes, while decoding dart rotation in half let your snap half shoreline love. One upload mixed dolphin church with lo-fi beats as she chain-stitched reflective crab trap cord into thrift denim. 46 hours later, the view counter slid past 1.3 million. Gulfside style blogs crowned her the gumbo couturier, but every sponsor email stopped at size 16. She dropped each pitch into a folder she tagged shrinking net, wiped cayenne butter from her cuff, and stirred another pot. Early hurricane prep season delivered an email from Columbia Sportswear. They asked her to co-design a spray show capsule called beautyfull. Tallulah answered with 3 pair-firm terms. Patterns must climb to a true 60-inch hip. Half the creative crew hired straight from community college fashion cohorts. 10% of net profit earmarked for oyster reef restoration from Mobile Bay to Barataria. Columbia signed before dawn pink lab beakers. The chute unfurled on a sand spit where hatchling skimmers carved commas towards silver swells. Tallulah guided paddleboarders of every curve across mirror water while drone traced lazy infinity symbols overhead. When the lookbook launched, every extended size jacket vanished in 41 hours across 29 countries. Lantern swell rocketed past 700,000 lantern icons. Powdered sugar from an overnight beignet sprint still dusted her palms as she balanced her phone on a flour tub, ducked behind rice sacks, and live-streamed tear-bright thanks beneath humming fluorescence. First gentle nudge lands here. If this story is already humming under your ribs, tap subscribe now. One quick press holds your rail seat, so next week's voyage drifts into your feed before algorithm tides can tug it away. And yes, right in the description you'll spot a quiet doorway, a research type guide that maps the surest path to heartfelt connection and shows any genuine soul how to kindle romance with the woman he dreams about. Spotlight glitter lures, rumor goals. A clickbait vlog claimed Tallulah strapped steel plates around her waist under beautyfull shells. At sunrise, she paddled a cedar board beyond Spartina grass, planted bare feet in linen shorts and sports bra, traced each silver stretch mark with crushed bougainvillea powder, and riffed a swamp funk chord so raw pelicans froze mid-flight. 10 million viewers reposted that proof, sweeping magenta dust across their own curves until gossip slipped beneath rising tide. Gumbo wagon wages wove with capsule royalties and whipped into Drift Cove cream, a marshmallow soft butter swirling, Tupelo honey, lemon myrtle oil, and mica sparks that glow pearl under any phone flash. 19,010s cooled on her father's chart table, Liz tied with braided trot line. Each tag printed moisturize your horizon. Batch 1 drained in 82 minutes, raising $198,000. 20% launched Beacon grants, sending industrial surgers and underwater microphones to plus-size teens in shoreline schools from Biloxi to Boca Chica. 8 months later, 36 grantees live-streamed a floating fashion and dolphin song gala aboard a retro shrimp scow strung with solar lanterns. Sunrise joy spilling into classrooms from Kingston to Kyoto. Pensacola Pier Fashion Night birthed new jetty legend when a backstage blower ripped her emerald mesh gown from hip to shin 80 breaths before runway. Tallulah ripped neon dock line off a rig brace, laced the gash like boot hooks, and walked as though the splice belonged in every draft. Camera shutters cracked like kettle corn. Vogue Southern dubbed it Rope Cadence Rescue, and another million lantern sparks flared before brass horns warmed the afterparty. A spurned intern leak trimmed emails implying she demanded crawfish tower banquets and chauffeured airboats for her rescue pelican, Delta. Tallulah posted the whole chain. Refillable water urns. Lentil stew for crew. Caption, monitors for desk stylists. Then funneled that month's affiliate surge, $135,000, into biodegradable crab trap trials off Terrebonne. Fans echoed her wharf mantra, receipts shine brighter than rumor grit, until whispers flatten like calm tide pools. It stays her compass. Twice each month she strings porcelain groove, mom flows soulful chords beside a propane griddle, Dad recites cloud haiku about barrier islands. Tallulah flips thrift denim while Delta waddles through powdered sugar drifts. One broadcast tipped 9 million views when the bird sneezed glitter across the lens. A Seabird Trust now sponsors every stream, tagging rehabilitated pelicans with solar beacons powered by Drift Cove. Cream revenue climbed beyond 12 million before Equinox 2. She leased a shuttered bait shed, carved skylights through corrugated tin, hired furloughed deckhands plus design grads to whip custard and knot lids by hand during midday funk sets. Auditors begged for shrink bands. She repeated Grady Winona's line, fingertips hold legend long past plastic fasteners, and rope ties remain. Her feed breeds honest weather. Basalt Ridge portraits sit beside Gumbo wagon selfies, captioned same sky, different tide. She shares breath tracks recorded in Blue Hole caves, printable resilience worksheets in English and Creole, discount links for slide and scale therapy, 134,000. Readers call her shoreline Candace, their first calm harbor. Community rides glow beneath crushed shell glitter. Hundreds wheel sunset causeways wearing Drift Cove cream on collarbones and LED hula grass tassels spinning from spokes. Ticket proceeds swell, beacon grants, and lift wheelchair snorkel rigs over clear springs. Chowder huts keep pots simmering. Conch stew bowls spike 15% on ride nights. Tallulah pedals lead on a vintage cruiser with Delta flush-clipped front, stopping to knot any rider's drifting lace. Polishing a memoir titled Currents Keep Names, slated for shelves in 11 languages next spring, while a film crew follows her plan to weld retired buoy chains into floating makers studios for coastal schools. Puma's Y2 Wave Lantern sneaker lands next quarter, threaded with reflective rope, cushioned by algae foam, steering 10% of revenue into Beacon nurseries all along the Gulf Rim. Second invitation floats up gentle. If that subscribe badge still glows red, soften it to quiet gray now. One tap promises next week's tide reaches your notifications before social currents twist the path. And remember, the Love Guide link in the description waits anytime you decide to set your heart on new horizons. Autumn creeps and playback settles towards slack water. Under this video, you will find fresh Drift Cove cream tins, Beacon Grant doors, tonight's porch line playlist, and the promised compass that thousands use to sail straight from hello to spark. Every resource is free and one click away. If the soda cap spine shimmer, rope cadence gown save, or delta glitter sneeze raise even half a grin tap like, scatter your brightest ripple in the comments and share this voyage with a friend whose sails feel slack. Curves reroute currents, scars refract lighthouse beams, and the coast nods respect to anyone bold enough to set both feet on the pier, ready to greet tomorrow eyes wide. Final shoreline whisper before lights go dim. Subscribe right this second, claim your rail, open that love link below, and meet me on the next rising tide when a brand new story shimmers beyond the breakers and courage speaks your name all over again.